mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Hey, check out my new tag team, baby, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey, Jimmy, don't forget to tell them about Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Well, you know what, I would, but you already did it.
It's Monty and the Pharaoh.
With Monty and Pharaoh. The Monty and Pharaoh Show.
Monty and Pharaoh, bro.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh. The Monty and the Pharaoh.
The Monty and Pharaoh Show.
And you're watching the Monty and Pharaoh Show.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
With Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
It's Monty and the Pharaoh.
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 Monty and Pharaoh.
It's Monty and the Pharaoh.
And Monty and the Pharaoh. Oh, is it Monty and the Pharaoh?
Yeah.
Monty and Pharaoh.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show.
Monty and the Pharaoh. To the Monty and the Pharaoh Show. And it's Monty and the Pharaoh, baby.
Watching Monty and the Pharaoh.
With Monty and the Pharaoh. Monty and the Pharaoh. Oh, what a run.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey, cut music. When you want the best in professional wrestling, Long Island, there's only one place you're going to get it, right here.
Monty and the Pharaoh. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best. That, my friends, is just incredible. Monty and the Pharaoh.
You've got the future Hall of Famer, that rocker, Marty Jannetty, and MJ in the house, and I'm sitting here with two more future Hall of Famers, Monty and the Pharaoh. We're doing that stuff, and we gonna rock it.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Duh.
Pat Patterson called me.
Pat Patterson called you.
Yeah.
Were you worried?
Yeah, he tell me.
Sorry.
No. So easy, baby.
Welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast out of Long Island, New York, straight from Indie Music TV, where we're welcoming our special guest, Doink and Dink, a.k.a. Ray Apollo, and a.k.a. Tiger Jackson. How you guys both handling the COVID era along with the civil unrest in the country right now?
Well, like everybody else, we're dealing with the pandemic the way everyone has to. You know, you got to respect the science, respect our leaders as far as isolation and wearing a mask and 6 feet apart. And, you know, I don't agree with everything they're doing. Some of them, some places, some states have gone overboard. You know, you have to find a happy medium between putting people's lives and businesses out of business and just crushing them, and so that maybe they can come back. You know, some of it is just too strict, and some of it is necessary, you know. So, I mean, I think they found a pretty good happy medium. I'd like to see some of it loosen up so that maybe the small businesses and some of the people that are really struggling can maybe come back from it. The protesting in masses and in bunches, I think they're playing with fire, because I think a lot of them could potentially get sick and get ill. As far as protesting goes, peaceful protests are a guaranteed right under the Constitution. And I believe in our Constitution and our country. I love our country. As far as violent protests, I think that should be put down very strongly, very quickly, and not tolerated.
Claude, you're from Canada, right?
Yeah,
What's it like in Canada right now?
it's same to the state. For you put the mask, you go to the restaurant, put the mask everywhere.
Any protesting going on in Canada?
No.
I was working security in a nightclub, and I met some of the guys that were wrestling and got to talking to them. And this was before the days of schools and everything. They didn't have them, and I'd go start driving the ring truck, putting the ring up, putting the ring down, and then before the people would come in, some of the older guys, you'd work out with them in the ring, and they'd work you out.
I bet.
But so you were bouncing, and you said, "Hey, how do I get into the biz?" And they said,
Yeah, I
let's
met
start
some
here."
of the guys, and
Yeah.
I just said, I always wanted to do that.
Who
And-
helped you get through the front door? Was there any particular wrestler that really helped you get in there?
Yeah, when I started, it was Johnny Rods.
Nice.
Yeah.
The unpredictable one.
Yeah, and Johnny was great. And then he opened the door, I got in, and then I got real lucky because Alpha and Sika liked me.
Oh,
And
that's a good thing.
yeah, it's a real good thing.
Me watch the match, the small people. Puis me see Beaver, Sky Lolo, Little Brutus.
Sky Lolo, sure.
One time me go see Beaver, me maybe 18. He tell me, you too young. You 21, call me. Me call. He training me. Puis Pat Beaver, very friend. Pat tell, bring Tiger to the state 1982. Me wrestling in Madison Square Garden, my first match.
Your
Too
first
nervous.
match.
First match.
Madison Square Garden, your first
Yeah.
match. Jeez.
Me training 6 months, all right?
6 months.
He tell me, you go Madison Square Garden, me, all right? Me tell me, don't look the people. He's packed, all right? Puis me look, me scare, man.
So you talk about the different sides of two guys. 6 months, his first match was in Madison Square Garden. 10 years and about 1,000 matches I got there too. The notoriety of the couple Wrestlemanias and, traveling around the world with the Federation at the time and all that stuff. Yeah, people do remember some of the other things I did. And once in a while, someone will ask me about it or to sign a picture from, the times before that. But
Right.
generally, without a doubt, the Doink character is the most important one of my career.
So you and Matt Osborne are pretty much are the ones that create,
Yeah.
had the Doink character.
Correct.
Matt was released for obvious drug problems that he had. Did Matt ever give you about you taking over the character?
Interesting.
No, I mean, as far as Matt and I, we didn't have any problems. We didn't have any personal, and I never did nothing to the guy. He never did nothing to me. I mean, if he had a problem with the office, and the office and him decided to go different ways in the business, that was nothing to do with me. I mean, I wasn't working for the Federation at the time. I didn't know. So, I mean, as far as me and Matt having bad blood with us, I never did with the guy. I mean, if he had...
Did he ever reach out to you at all to talk about it, or just?
I mean, I talked to Matt a couple times, after I had already left. There was promoters that wanted to do, a Doink on Doink match, and they wanted to do...
Which is a pretty good idea, by the
yeah,
way.
and this and that, and but I never had a problem with him.
How did you feel when it was broken to you that you were going to take on the character? Were you excited, or were you possibly even disappointed, and like maybe you wanted other things for your career? How did you feel when you were told you were going to do this?
Well, it's not like I woke up one morning and said, you know what, I think I'm going to be a clown and wrestling.
Right,
So,
right. So where were you at when they broke it to you?
Well, the truth of it is, I was home. I was fixing something in my kitchen, and the phone call rings. And as you might or might not know, some of the boys like to tease each other. Right. We used to call it playing ribs,
Okay.
So the phone rings, and I answer the phone. I said, hello. And the other end goes, well, this is Vince McMahon. I'd like to talk to you about possibly coming to work.
This is Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, well, listen, whichever one of my friends is giving me a hard time today, I don't need to talk to you. I hung up the phone. So 10
I
minutes.
fixed the sink, Mrs. Manicotti. You can come back down. That's pretty funny.
just like Norton and Ralph. Right. So, 5 minutes later, the phone rings again. He says, this is Vince McMahon. I said, listen, I don't have time for this. Whoever's playing ribs on me today, leave me alone and stop calling me. I hung up the phone again.
I fear Vince is starting getting annoyed.
But, yeah.
Okay.
So finally, the third time, a girl calls back and said, listen, this is Vince McMahon's secretary. Here's the number for Titan Tower. Please call it back. He wants to speak with you.
Oh, wow.
I said, all right. So
Put the wrench down.
yeah. So
Okay.
now the phone of the guy says, well, geez, I wonder if this is for real, Nah, can't be.
Right.
All right, let me call it back.
Okay.
So I call it back, and hello, World Wrestling Federation. I went, oof.
Oh man!
Oh boy, I just hung up on this cat twice. I said, well, this is Ray Apollo. I'm looking to speak with Mr. McMahon. She goes, yeah, he's been trying to get in touch with you.
Oh my God! And they got rid of, or Osborne left, or he was on drug rehab.
Okay.
That Bam Bam Bigelow recommended you for the role as Doink. Is there any truth behind that?
I know that I think Vince had asked a few people, like, about me, you know, who I was, where I was, what was going on. And I think, if I remember right, that Bam Bam and Afa and Yokozuna all told Vince about me.
Okay.
And at that time, you know, Yoko was the champion, and Afa was there with what you guys call, you know, Rikishi Jr. and Sam were the head shrinkers. And, Scott, I guess he asked Scott about me too, Bam Bam. So, yeah, it came from those three guys, you know, really.
So I guess it paid off to know the Samoans then, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're friends of mine, so it was great being with them all this time, you know. I mean, they're like family to me.
Yeah.
We all do things a certain way. There's not two wrestlers the same in the world.
Right.
So everybody does things their own way. When you do it and how you do it is just how you switch things around. That's the way it was to me.
You know, we've had Lanny Poffo in here, and he thought that Bigelow was a pretty arrogant type of guy, and kind of really wasn't a good person.
He had some, yeah.
I know you had a relationship with him. What was Scott Bigelow like?
Well, all I can ever talk about is my own dealings with people.
Yeah.
I never take what anyone else says about it. I mean, Bam Bam and I would go fishing together. We would go pistol shooting together. We'd go hunting together. You know, we got along real well. And as far as the kind of guy he was, I mean, he'd do anything for me. And me for him. You know, we were on the road together. We would ride together. We'd room together. We'd help each other out. I can never talk bad about him. I don't have a bad word to say.
Any truth to the excessive living? Because we have had guests in the past who said that he would, like, literally wipe his with $100 bill. Is there any truth to Bigelow being a partier and, you know?
Oh, we all partied.
You all partied. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Listen, anybody who sits in this seat and tells you that we weren't drinking beer and doing things
Right.
that we shouldn't have been doing is a liar.
Right.
I mean, it's just, what level did you take it to?
Claude with all of his groupies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on now.
Well, you know, when he walks in the snow, you see 3 drag marks, but that's another story.
Unbelievable.
That's another whole story.
Yeah, one feet of snow.
You know.
You see three lines.
You know. You know, I mean, we all drank beer and had fun and did things we shouldn't have done.
Of course.
It's just that
You both.
some guys took it to the extreme.
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
which is bad.
Right.
And I'm not advocating doing any of it, but
Right.
you know, when you're of that lifestyle and you wrestle every day and you're working out, you know, you want to go all the time.
Right.
You know, and you're young and nothing hurts and you feel great, and you know, you walk into a tavern or a place and everyone recognizes you and everybody wants to be your friend and buy you a drink and have a good time, and before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're running down the beach with half your clothes on.
You're at a bar, ring rat comes up to you. We'll just call it a ring rat.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
You know, they want to have sex with Doink the Clown. Do you have any fans that asked you to keep your makeup, like put your makeup on and let's have sex?
The answer is yes.
Oh yeah.
Tell a story. You got to tell the story.
Definitely happened.
You too, huh, Dink?
Me, he like to try me, all right? Me the small guy, all right? Me tell coming, you never come back a big guy.
Really? God. So you never let Claude have him first because you're afraid.
Oh, then I didn't have a shot. No, it was all over.
What is going on here?
You can't send him in first. It's all over.
He's a stunt muffin.
Oh yeah.
How hot were the girls that used to come up to you? Were they hot or were they
Well,
like,
some of them were very nice looking women, you know.
Oh, God.
Some of them were a little rough.
They needed the makeup.
Yeah, they should have doubled up on the makeup.
Dink, I want to ask you, how were you approached by the WWE to come to the company?
He called me. Pat Patterson, he called me.
Pat Patterson called you.
Yeah.
Were you worried?
Yeah, he tell me.
Sorry.
No. So easy, baby.
Matt Bourne's character was an evil clown, right? And they're kind of like, hey, we want you to be this face clown. Were you disappointed over that? It didn't matter.
No, I mean, it didn't matter to me. I was grateful to have a job, you know, at the top level of the business, and you know, I always felt as though all of us guys that were in that locker room were just a tool in the box. Mm-hmm. How you were going to get this program, how you were going to get this TV show to be a winning TV show on. If you have 30 guys under contract and all of them are the same, we don't need you.
Right.
So my tool, I was a tool in that box, and I was going to be a clown. So that's what I had to be. And if they wanted to be a fan favorite clown, then that's what I was going to do. I was going to do the best I could at it. Would Bruno and Mike Cicluna and a lot of those, Brower and Dominic DeNucci, and the list goes on and on, would those guys have made it in the 90s? Absolutely. They were absolute talent. They
So
were
you
great
think
wrestlers.
you definitely think like a Bruno Sammartino would have transitioned?
Oh, yeah.
No matter what?
Yeah, without a doubt. Because he was just talent. He was pure talent. And as far as like Jeff Jarrett and Marty and Bammer and all those guys, could they have wrestled back in the 60s? Absolutely. They would have wrestled differently. They might have done different things, but they were athletes.
You were around during the time period of the heyday of the Clique.
Yeah.
Did you ever witness some of the things, either of you, that they did to others in the locker room?
I didn't have a problem with them. I mean, listen, it's like anything else. You go to work in a factory.
You didn't want to slap out of Shawn Michaels?
Oh, well.
Be honest. Be honest.
I did slap him once in a Royal Rumble in a Providence. It's on tape.
Okay.
I slapped him in the mouth.
What led you to do that?
Because he was being obnoxious, and he would mess with people and, just be belligerent. And, but since then, the last time I saw him, Shawn really grew up. He's a much nicer person. And I knew that part was always there. I think for whatever reason, he had to have a chip on his shoulder and not let that nice guy come out. Because the last time I saw him, he was really nice.
Yeah.
I said, why weren't you like this for the last 25 years?
Clearly you didn't like him
then.
Well,
it wasn't me. I mean, it was Tito Santana.
Yeah,
we've had him on video a few times.
Had him on several
He's
times.
one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yes,
in
he
this business.
is. Yeah.
Tito wanted to beat him up. Now, if you could get Tito Santana to fight with you,
you've accomplished some
you win.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the nicest gentlemen in the business.
How about his partners, Hall and Nash?
Well,
is it also arrogant central, or what are we talking here?
I mean, anybody knows this business. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know.
Okay.
And by the way, Scott's in the studio. And
Scott Hall had a substance abuse problem.
Right, of course.
And when Scott was straight, he was a nice guy.
Right.
He would get belligerent and nasty when he was jacked up. And there's a guy that had more talent than half of the company.
Sure.
He was a big, good-looking, talented guy that would have went 10 times as far as he did if he wasn't messed up on a little bit of the stuff. But he had it all.
So when you get the call to the WWE, is that during the time where McMahon towards that steroid trial?
Oh, yeah, I walked right in on the heat of that. The minute I got there, we had random drug testing imposed, because of he was going to court. Vince originally had a 22-count indictment against him, and Terry was named in it, and there was a lot of heat going on for that.
Sure.
We all paid a stricter price for that because the random drug testing came in. If you got caught 3 times, you got fired. It was on, and they weren't just tested for steroids; they tested you for everything.
Now,
you never knew when it was coming.
Did you hit the juice? You're a big guy.
No,
I
never did.
Hit the juice.
I didn't have to.
You just
my problem was
he was taking it all for you, right?
Well, your problem was losing the weight.
Yeah.
What?
I was always the fat kid skipping rope in the shower. Oh boy.
WrestleMania 10, Madison Square Garden. What was that feeling like for you guys coming out there that night? That is major stuff going on.
Anybody who gets into the wrestling business, it's like any kid that plays baseball or football. You want to play in the World Series, in Yankee Stadium.
It's the Super Bowl,
or
WrestleMania.
you want to play in the Super Bowl.
WrestleMania, Super Bowl, baby.
WrestleMania.
At the Garden.
Madison Square Garden.
The birthplace.
Geez, it don't get any bigger than that.
Were you nervous? You'd already been there. You were okay this time, right? You were good, right? He was okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
He was like a prostitute in church. He was so nervous. Are you kidding me?
What was the payday for WrestleMania 10?
Ooh.
Well,
come on.
If we want to let...
come on.
My payday?
Yeah.
Was $16,000.
Here's where the team breaks up. You made more, didn't you? What did you make? I'm just kidding. What was your payday for WrestleMania?
Probably got half.
Oh, man. Were you happy with that payday?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. I really did.
Yeah.
I mean, for where we were on the card,
How long was the match?
10 minutes.
He got 16 grand for 10 minutes.
It's not too
Yeah,
bad.
but what about the
Can I
11
borrow
years-
your makeup kit?
What about the 11 years it took to get
Yeah.
No, I don't want to hear about
that don't
that.
count. When I was Sergeant Kruger, I was Sergeant Kruger. When I was Ray Apollo, I was Ray Apollo. When I was Doink the Clown, I was Doink the Clown.
Right.
Like I said to you before, when you asked me about turning from an evil guy to a fan favorite, and I was a wrestler, and I would put my wrestling skills in whatever wrapper they wanted me to put it in.
Yeah.
So when I first started in the business, and most of the guys that have made it will tell you the same thing. When I was 22, 23 years old, I would have wrestled for nothing. I loved it. I couldn't wait every day to get on the mat. I loved it. I loved
Right.
having fun. To me, I couldn't believe somebody paid me as much money as they did to go in there and have fun with my friends. I liked to fight. I mean, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I liked the physical contact. I liked being with my friends. And then the best part was after it was all over, you went and had a couple of beers or you had some ice cream, you shot pool, and, it's like anything else. People say, well, is there guys you didn't like? Of course.
Right.
I mean, what do? You work for an assembly line. Isn't
Yeah,
there guys you don't like?
Sure.
You're a school teacher. Isn't there other school teachers you don't like? Of course. Not everybody you're going to like. But by and large, 95% of the guys I got along with. I had a lot of fun. I couldn't wait to go somewhere and have fun with my friends. It sounds screwed up, but in the beginning, I couldn't wait to get back on the road.
No, you know
I
what?
loved it.
That's
I really miss Owen Hart.
Really?
Owen
Tell us about Owen.
Owen was a good friend of mine, and when I was in the Federation, he was building a new house, and he had OG, his son, and his wife, and we got along so well that whenever he came to the New York area, I used to take him home with me, and I would say, save your money on the rental car and on the hotel. Stay with me, put that towards your house, He says, yeah, I'm going to build a nice house. I'm building a nice brand new house for me and Martha, He goes, as soon as my time in the Fed is over, he was a school teacher. He goes, I'm going to go back home and, teach school and have a nice life with my wife and family. And I said, that's great. I really hope the best for you. And we talked all the time. And I talked to him just a week before he died.
Your thoughts the night that he passed? What did you go through as far as emotions when you heard? Were you watching live by any chance?
No,
Okay.
thank God, because that would have been really bad.
How was it broken to you, the news?
A friend of mine called me up and told me.
Okay.
And, almost right after it happened, he called me and said, did you see what happened? And I said, no. And he told me, and, I was just heartbroken. Not mad, not, violent. It was like someone kicked me in the gut.
Well, did you watch Dark Side of the Ring at all?
Yeah.
Do you feel the WWE totally dropped the ball on this? I mean, not saying you're putting blame on anything, right?
That's
Just,
a real tough. Do I think that Vince willfully did it and that it was every intent and malice? No, I don't think anybody, tried to kill him.
Should the show have gone on that night?
My opinion, no.
Okay.
Owen didn't want to do that Blue Blazer thing, and that wasn't his.
I hated it personally.
He didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Did he tell you that he didn't want to?
I hated it.
Oh, of course.
Oh, he did not like it.
So he was like, I don't want to do this whole.
But he was
angle?
under contract, and that's what Vince and them wanted.
Right.
Because there was certain things they didn't want. He didn't want to do on TV that they wanted him to do. And as his punishment for saying no, they put him back in the Blue Blazer suit. Now, okay, I agree that maybe the talent in the office should have worked something out. Okay, fine. Do I think that there was any malice or any premeditation leading to his demise? Of course not.
No.
I don't believe that for a second.
No.
Do I think it was a terrible tragedy and an accident that didn't have to happen? It was a preventative accident because it didn't have to happen. He didn't need it. He was a good enough wrestler as Owen Hart. He didn't need that Blue Blazer thing. There was no reason for that. Other than, at that time, WCW had Sting doing it. And
It was a battle, right? They all wanted to top each other.
Yeah, so, but I mean, it didn't have to be. It was an avoidable, unnecessary incident.
Thoughts on Kamala as far as working in the ring with him? Of course, the recently passed great Kamala.
James Harris.
What was that like working with him? Was it
James was one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. He was a sweetheart. You know, and I'll tell you this, everybody talks about the prejudice and civil unrest and everything in our country.
Okay.
When I was doing the South African gimmick, there was apartheid in South Africa. That's why that Ole Anderson started that angle with me and Ted Petty.
Different times, right? Imagine trying to do that.
Different times.
Yep.
And when we'd walk out of an arena in a bad neighborhood, place where there'd be 30, 40 people outside waiting for me and Teddy. And you know who used to help get us in the cars? James Harris and S.D. Jones and all the black guys that we were fighting every night.
Right.
There you go.
Because they knew that we were making money. They knew that we were bringing out all the prejudice and all the hatred in people, and we were filling up buildings. And those black guys would get me and Teddy to the car. So let everybody think about that for a little while.
That you were in that older WWE thing, and you saw guys like Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert coming through,
Sure.
and, right? Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
Did you look at them and go, "These guys are going to be good"? Or are you like, "Eh"?
Oh, I knew Kurt Hennig was a talent the minute I saw him.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that guy was a machine. You know, there's guys that like Kurt Hennig, Mike Rotunda, Barry Windham. You know, there's guys like that that are just machines in there, and they would have been great in the 1900s all the way to the 2020s.
You got any Andre stories? Did you ever meet up with Andre?
I met Andre, sure.
So you got
I want to know if Dink met Andre.
Dink,
the
have you ever
Giant.
met Andre? Like, got any Andre stories?
Nice guy.
Nice. He didn't try to put you in his pocket or something as a
No.
bad joke or something.
Wait a
I
minute.
can see Andre doing that. What? Oh, now I'm not sensitive.
What a minute.
What's going on?
Easy, baby.
I'm sorry. What is the favorite moment in each one of yours career? One special night. What is it?
Honestly, WrestleMania 10.
How could it not be?
Me
okay.
too.
Same
Madison
for both
Square-
of you.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden and WrestleMania.
Yeah, I really don't get better than that.
I
does
don't
it?
know what you'd do to top that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrestled in Royal Albert Hall and the Astrodome and every big building in this country and ones out of this country, but there's only one Madison Square Garden, and there's only one WrestleMania. I mean, I did Starcades, I did Clashes of the Champions, I did a lot of different things, but that without a doubt is it.
For
You
both
know?
of you.
It's like every
Yeah.
little kid that plays baseball. He wants, when you see a guy like Roger Clemens would walk out of the bullpen and pet Babe Ruth's monument statue,
Oh.
what does that tell you?